VikingsSports.com.
Yes, welcome in Daily Vikings Entertainment, and we are live on the Purple Daily YouTube channel celebrating a man getting rich today. TJ Hockenson, a man getting rich, a man whose back and ears probably feel better than they felt in a month today. TJ Hockenson has signed an extension with the Minnesota Vikings. Judd is out at the practice facility. He just took in the Kwesi and KOC 53-man roster, and TJ Hockenson sort of recap press conference. So we'll get Judd's press conference notes. A shout out to our friends at TCL. No matter what you watch, TCL has award-winning TVs for any budget, any space, all with stunning picture quality. TCL makes more than just TVs too. They offer mobile products, audio devices, home appliances. TCL brings you joy and simplicity through innovative technology. Learn more at TCL.com. It's a good day to be TJ Hockenson. We have not seen the details of the contract yet. According to our good friend Tom Pelissero, he is slated to become one of the most highly paid tight ends in the National Football League, Judd. So once we get those details, we can really dissect the contract and what it means. But what were your biggest takeaways here from the news and from the press conference?
Well, I think the miracle is going to be the recovery of TJ from that ear problem that was so debilitating, and then the
Here
back
we go.
And then the back problem.
We go.
I mean, my God, the Holden is now done. No, I think it's great, and I think it's the first of a few contracts that they probably hope to get done before the season, including if they can. I think Justin Jefferson, but. This is the logical move. I mean, TJ Hockenson had an immediate impact when he joined the team in week 8 of last year with no practice time. I would have liked to seen him be able to work in team practice in training camp. I don't think that would have hurt him. In fact, I think it probably helps. But that being said, I don't think it's going to be a major sticking point. And, the Vikings identified a guy, made a hell of a trade with Detroit for him, and now we don't know exactly how long yet, but have locked him up. And I think this is, if we're going to dissect Kwesi's moves, both draft picks and trades to date, I think that this is easily his best one. It's probably 1, 2, and 3, and so it makes sense that TJ Hockenson will now, I would guess, be spending, I'm guessing it's a 3 to 5 year contract, and he's going to be a huge part of a team that is now also clearly going to emphasize more 12 personnel. And I think he's going to be what the Vikings expected, which is a hybrid receiver / tight end, which probably means, I'm guessing he got paid pretty well, because I'm guessing his agent and the hang up was the fact that you can't pay him like a normal tight end, the Travis Kelce's and the Wallers and the Kittles and Hawkinsons are far more of a hybrid player.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, I mean, he's definitely not one of the top tier tight ends. But what is he? 26 years old, and now he's playing in this Kevin O'Connell system. And I feel like there's another layer to his game that has yet to be unlocked. But this is the first. And by the way, I actually, you know what? Someone pointed out that we were wrong the other day when we were saying Kwesi, he's been here for a year and a half. He hasn't handed out any contract extensions. What are we missing? CJ Ham got a multi-year contract extension. Okay. So the disrespect to CJ Ham, we apologize for that. But this is in a complicated puzzle here, and I think it was Kevin Seifert at the press conference that asked Kwesi, is your next trick going to be a Justin Jefferson contract extension? And he kind of like leaned back in his chair. He's like, he kind of laughed. He's like, it ain't a trick. This is a complicated web of things. And so TJ Hockenson is the first sort of Tetris piece to slide in. And now you're trying to figure out Jefferson. Next summer, it's going to be Darrisaw. The Kirk Cousins thing is still discussion. So there's a lot of, with like the most important positions, some of these players, Hawkinson's the first block, if you will. And we'll see if another one clicks before the season starts.
Yeah, and I think to go down the Justin Jefferson path on a contract extension, which is coming at some point here, and we know that there have been reports for months now, including from Doogie, that the team wants to get this done. Seifert's follow-up to Kwesi was important, which is, would you take this into the season? Because, there's a lot of players and there's a lot of teams, but players especially are like, once the season starts, man, I don't want to hear about contracts. Now that doesn't mean Kwesi's representatives can't be negotiating, but a lot of players are like, just shut this thing down. So, and Kwesi left the door open. And this is, again, going to be an interesting enough contract that I could see this getting done right before the season or into it. But I thought it was interesting that Kwesi definitely left the door open a smidge, that if this is not done September 9th, that does not mean it couldn't be done at some point in September or October.
Yeah. Do you feel like people owe you an apology for the way that they responded to you probing and poking Hockenson a couple weeks ago? Judd, you're just trying to stir up drama. Why are you asking him about his contract? Why do you always assume that people are lying? Would you like to take a victory lap right now?
Sports Dad is a sports detective, okay? An investigator of sports. So I don't expect the fans out there to say, yeah, you know what? I knew what this was. Some of you definitely did and told me, and you were exactly right. But my job is to get to the bottom of things. My job is not to be like offended when, in fact, I've gotten some very nasty notes on Twitter of late. I just can't believe it, about things that I have tweeted and or said facts. So you know what? Sports Dad is going to continue his investigations, and some of you don't like that. But that's okay. We're not supposed to all get along. That's how life is. It's great. So
I think my sense is that your radar was dialed in correctly, and I don't doubt that he had some sort of ear infection. Maybe he was a little stiff a day at practice or something. But I think this was a classic hold-in situation. I don't know. It's Kwesi was kind of asked about, was there like a quid pro quo? I caught like the tail end of that question. And he kind of played dumb, like, I don't know. I trust the medical staff, whatever. Let me ask you this. Do you think the Vikings and Hockenson were in on it together? Or do you think Hockenson and his agent were like, hey, you know what? We're close enough on this thing. Let's not do anything stupid by, blowing a knee out at practice.
I think the Vikings were definitely co-conspirators, but I think the conspiracy was driven by Hockenson, if that makes sense. So I don't think the Vikings objected strongly, but I think if the Vikings had their druthers, that he would have practiced. Like, I don't think there's any, at least from a coaching staff standpoint, if you're O'Connell, I don't think there's any way that you're saying, you know what, TJ, yeah, you go ahead and don't take part in team drills. And my reference point for that is Justin Jefferson. Like Justin Jefferson could easily say, you know what, guys, team drills, I don't know until I get my second contract, right? But he's not, and he was going full tilt, and O'Connell loved it. So I think the Vikings were co-conspirators, but I don't think that they drove the conspiracy. I think Hockenson was the primary guy to say, hey, you know what, till this gets done, we're going to hang loose here, and I got an ear problem, and now I got a back problem, and miraculously, happy day, I woke up from my mattress. In fact, I would mention one in particular. If someone with a mattress company wants to advertise
Judd here for
Daily,
blank. Judd here for Purple Mattress. Purple Mattress would be a great partner.
I would love a sleep Judd. But you know what? I think he woke up today and felt just fantastic.
Yeah. So, okay, what else, unless you guys have any other thoughts on the TJ Hockenson extension? I mean, once we get the contract information, then we can be like, where does it slot in? How does this, cap ramifications? Final thoughts on Hockenson. Otherwise, what other things did you pick up on at that press conference?
Let's actually move on to more Judd's TCO performance notes because I think there's some stuff worth talking about. So we now know Kene Nwangwu has a lower back problem. So that was unclear until now.
Okay.
And O'Connell did say it's a lower back issue. He said that he is not going to put a timetable on this. It's interesting because in our scoop session that we recorded earlier on Thursday, Doogie said that the Nwangwu camp was not pleased that he was placed on IR. And by the way, just to be very, very clear here, if Kene Nwangwu had been placed on IR on cutdown day, his season would have been done. Because it was done a couple days after or a day after cutdown day, he must miss the first 4 games, but that's it.
Yeah.
So it's a lower back problem. It sounds like if the Nwangwu camp is unhappy, he's on IR. Clearly, they think he can come back before 4 games have passed. But just as importantly, too, it sounds like from what O'Connell said that Ty Chandler is going to return kicks to start the season. He said Ty is going to return kicks, and that so Brandon Powell will return punts. And so the interesting point, and I wonder if this is why the Nwangwu camp is upset too. As we sort of see this new kickoff rule unfold, and by the way, if you fair catch a kickoff now at the 5-yard line in an NFL game, the ball goes to the 25.
Yeah.
I wonder if they're concerned his value is going to evaporate.
What, Nwangwu?
Yeah, because it's like, okay.
Yeah.
Because he might return a couple of kicks, but that's a roster spot. So I wonder if they're upset that he is going to basically have 4 games where he can't play. And now conversely, the Vikings can then say, you know what? That roster spot could go to X, Y, or Z.
When you say like they would be upset, who is they?
The Nwangwu. So So Doogie said that the Kene Nwangwu camp, his people and his reps were not happy that he was placed on IR. He's been out all of training camp. I can't fault the Vikings, but I was trying to think, why would they be upset? And I think it's probably because he's going to miss 4 games, and through what essentially is almost a quarter of the season, there's a chance that the Vikings come back and say, hey, you know what, dude, we really don't miss you.
So this is where I don't want to get into. I'm hearing now second or third hand through Doogie or whatever that the Nwangwu camp might not be through with this. And what I would say is, if that is the case, you've had your entire college career and you've had your first 2 years in the NFL to show that you can be a big part of the offense. All the while, in both college and in the NFL, both entities are trying to minimize, if not get rid of, the thing that you are good at. Well, I would say this, I'm not trying to say that a guy should play through an injury that he can't. I hate trying to dissect whether a guy's actually hurt or not. The Hockenson thing was kind of obvious because it's just a very obvious hold-in situation with his contract. Nwangwu isn't dealing with a contract situation, so I do have to believe that he was hurt enough to not participate in a month's worth of training camp. It's unfortunate, but you are a fringe. If you are just a kick returner in today's NFL, which he is, to this point, he's just a kick returner. He's not like a third down back. He's not a backup running back. I think they were trying to make that a thing throughout this offseason. You saw him taking some first and second team reps. That he was very clearly, before the back injury, the number 2 running back throughout OTAs and mini camps, but they didn't see enough. He didn't play in a preseason game. He didn't play in any joint practices. So it's if you get down, hey, we got what is our 53? We got rid of Dalvin Cook, which we stand by, but can we trust Kene Nwangwu to be a huge part of the actual offense? And the answer has to be no. It has to be no. So stashing him on IR is a good move for the Vikings, because they now get to look at Ty Chandler, who has been a part of the offense throughout the offseason, right? The guy got a bunch of carries in the preseason. I'm not saying he's going to be, Dalvin Cook, but they can use the first 4 weeks to gauge, okay, if we can get by with someone else as a kick returner, and that person is also a backup running back or a backup receiver or whatever it is, Nwangwu probably doesn't come back to the roster, right? He was the best kick returner in the league last year, and he can house one at any time. He only returned 35 kicks in 17 games.
Yeah.
So
I agree completely, which is this. If you get hurt, because I do agree, it's probably, if a guy is legit hurt and you don't know the extent, it's not fair to say, well, he has to come back. But it's also fair to say, guess what? That can cost you. This whole thing of, well, you shouldn't lose your job because you're hurt. That's a bunch of garbage. If you're hurt, it gives other guys, especially if you're a fringe guy. I'm not saying if you're a star, but if you're a fringe guy, it gives other guys the opportunity to shine. Yeah. And Nwangwu also, just to play this out and speak of this from a Vikings perspective, he was going to be given a shot for the first time in his career here to be a part of the offense, to be a substantial part, and he couldn't do it. Well, I'm not saying that he could have come back, but I am saying that the Vikings basically said, hey, here it is. Here's the opportunity. And he couldn't, and that's fine. But, if he's taking up a roster spot now, it's probably roster spot 49 or 50.
Yeah,
and those are always going to be subject to change. And that's, you know what? That's how you win games. And in fact, I asked Kwesi about that because as well as the Hockenson thing worked out, and it's worked out fantastic. Ross Blacklock, who got cut, who was traded for in a swap at draft picks as well. So it wasn't that big a deal with Houston last year. More importantly, Jalen Reagor, who was cut on Wednesday and cost the Vikings 2 picks. And I said, as well as Hockenson has worked out, what's your stance on cutting, or what's the feeling on cutting guys who you basically have you have an investment in.
Yeah.
They're not just street free agents. And the part of his quote that I wrote down is, we need to and we will keep taking risks. You can't look at individual players. What you have to look at is, I believe his term, if I'm not mistaken here, was you have to look at the whole portfolio.
I love that.
And the portfolio.
Investing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. When I was in New York on Wall Street. But anyway, his point was, this is not going to, like, right or wrong, because I'm sure some folks don't agree with his philosophy, but his point was, right or wrong, draft picks and guys I trade for, if they don't make it, they don't make it.
Yep. It was a great question by you, former lead Vikings beat writer, Star Tribune, startribune.com, 1500ESPN.com. And I thought it was he didn't get offended by the question. No. It's a worthwhile. Hey man, like you took a couple shots on some guys, and they have to punt on a 5th round draft pick next year because Jalen Reagor, or it would have been a 4th even if he panned out. But I like his perspective on it. When people do, and we are probably guilty of this too. People get so caught up in like the big whiff. Like right now, the San Francisco 49ers front office is getting pounded for the Trey Lance thing. And I think that decision in a vacuum deserves to get pounded because it's one of the all-time epic. You give up all these first-round picks to move up. It's an epic failure of a personnel move. But that's just one of their bets that they placed. It was a big one, but look at the rest of that San Francisco portfolio over the course of 5 or 6 years. Like, they nail so many stocks and decisions. So we can criticize the Jalen Reagor thing. But I agree with Kwesi. Overall, it's going to be a portfolio that, for him, in fairness, hasn't been fully formed yet. There's some things in the draft section of the portfolio, right. And there's like a Jalen Reagor thing over here. Like there's some things that don't look right now. But he deserves more than a year and a half for us to look at his portfolio from 30,000 feet. Right?
You nailed it. The draft portfolio to me is the important thing. But if you're going to trade a 5th round pick here and a 6th round pick there, or pick swaps, I'm fine with it. But it's funny because I think what you're talking about, especially when we go to the Niners Trey Lance thing, is I think we're talking about sort of how the old school and new school sports fan thinks, right? The old school fan thinks, you traded all of that to the Dolphins, and look at how those picks all are panning out, and you got done. And then you're fortunate that you got lucky on the last pick of the 7th round in Purdy. The new school sports fans like, well, yes, that's bad. But that being said, the Purdy pick in their mind's not luck. Like, they were more savvy, and he got to them, and they took him, and now he's starting. Yeah. And so I think it's a definite difference in how executives and sports fans of different generations think. Because in the old days, the Niners talker is like, this could get everyone fired. And now they're like, oh, no, we whiffed. But the other thing, too, is, do you know, in the old days, Trey Lance would have been kept around San Francisco forever. He'd still be there right now.
But it also depends on who your owner is, because I think people who are reasonable look at San Francisco and say, wow, that's an epic failure. But yeah, overall, like, holy cow, what a rock solid organization and roster. And I think their ownership group feels that way too. But there are some owners in the NFL that are knee jerk, where if you whiff that badly on a quarterback pick, especially, it's over for you. I could see a scenario where the Niners, if they get burned at the quarterback spot, or a couple guys get injured and they win 8 games and miss the playoffs, like, could I see it? Maybe like John Lynch is on the chopping block. But real quick, one last thing on the running back Kene Nwangwu and Ty Chandler thing. So I was just looking this up. We all know that Nwangwu is lightning fast, right? As a kick returner, he's a track star basically, who ran a 4.3 30, a 4.3 40-yard dash at the combine or at a pro day, whatever it was. So I remember Ty Chandler also being fast out of college, but I couldn't remember what his 40 time was. Dude, Kene Nwangwu ran a 4.32, which is blazing. Ty Chandler ran a 4.38 40 at the 2022 Combine. So Nwangwu might be a touch faster in open space. Now, there's more to returning kicks than like just straight line speed. So I'll give Nwangwu, at this point, Nwangwu clearly has that vision and knows how to set up the blocks and stuff. But so you're telling me I get a guy in Ty Chandler who's just as fast in the open field, basically, and also has more running back skills that the Vikings trust. Man, it's going to be... And my official stance on this is I would love for Nwangwu's skills to translate to him being like the third running back. We've been salivating over that for 2 years, right? Man, what if you could... The things that he's doing on kickoffs, what if you could find a sub-package of plays, a screen pass, straight up, like lining up in the backfield? Could you make something work?
Red zone plays. Right. Yes, you're right.
And it's just like, to this point, it hasn't happened. But I was surprised to see Ty Chandler is basically just as fast as Kene Nwangwu in the open field. So Vikings fans, that might be something to keep an eye on here. All
right. The next note, we have captains. We have team captains as voted upon by the players, of course. All right. Captain number 1 is Kirk Cousins. A unanimous pick, except for one ballot. Kirk Cousins doesn't vote for himself. He left himself off.
That's my quarterback.
Everybody
that's leadership.
That's
my
so
quarterback.
Matthew Stafford can't identify with his teammates because they're on their phones all the time, and Kelly Stafford's all mad. The Cousinses are just so happy. Things are going well here.
Dude, it's amazing. Isn't that great? Listen, guys, I'm not going to vote for myself, even though I know you're all going to vote for me. I'm going to put the team before myself. I'd like to see Cousins' ballot. Is he going to unveil his ballot?
It's probably CJ Ham.
It's definitely not Ezra Cleveland and Ed Ingram. We know that.
Exactly. Captain 2 for the first time ever, Justin Jefferson. He actually was not a captain last year. I'm almost positive Thielen was, so he's essentially going to replace him. But Justin Jefferson, a first-time captain. This will be, I think 2022 will be the last time that Justin Jefferson, as long as he's a Viking, will not be a captain, because this will start a long run of him being a captain. Brian O'Neill, back as a captain. Okay. Harrison Smith, same thing. Jordan Hicks, again, a stabilizing force. I would call him a stabilizing influence on the defense and in the locker room, a captain. Danielle Hunter, captain 6. CJ Ham, captain 7. And the last one, this guy who was named a captain late last season when Brian O'Neill got hurt. And Brian O'Neill went to the head coach and said, I think you should appoint this guy in my place, Josh Metellus.
Yeah.
So those are your 8
It's a good
captains.
group, man. That's a good group of captains. What do, aside from just like going out for the coin toss once in a while, what do they have? Mike Zimmer used to have like a leadership group.
Yeah,
I don't know if it was just captains or if it was veterans. Are there like special private? Is there like a special handshake or something?
I think they meet. This goes back to Childress. Childress had captains, or actually he called it a what, Phil? He called it a veteran council, a veteran leadership
committee
council
or something.
I don't think they called it captains at the time, but anyway, I think that they meet with O'Connell. In fact, O'Connell, in talking about these guys, referenced the fact that this group helped him improve as a coach last year. So I think that they meet, and I think that they hash things out. I mean, it's smart. But yeah, so Josh Metellus, who I do think is going to play enough to substantiate this too. But I just think that shows like how respected Metellus is. And I'm telling you, he's super smart. He is a super smart player.
Hey, what did I heard the tail end of an answer to about or O'Connell kind of volunteered himself talking about getting 5 defensive backs on the field and getting comfortable playing 3 safeties. And then Kwesi kind of chimed in and said, well, a couple of those safeties have a lot of experience playing cornerback, high-level cornerback college football. What was the entry point to that? Did they confirm that they're going to be putting 3 safeties on the field on a regular basis? Or
no, the entry point was a question about the fact that they kept 6 safeties.
Yeah.
And I think that they're playing the entire time up until the end of camp was to keep 5. So the question was, how difficult was the decision, or how did you arrive at keeping 6 safeties? And O'Connell's, and he's right. Like, that's the thing, is Brian Flores is going to use three safeties are going to basically be starters, and 3 cornerbacks are going to basically be starters. And so like, we 6 safeties, but it's really, in my opinion, it's this. It's 3 guys are going to play a ton. 5 safeties deserved it. And as we talked about, Lewis Cine was going nowhere.
Oh, so you're saying the other 5 deserved it, and Lewis Cine is under contract.
If Lewis Cine was a guy, if Lewis Cine was a 6th round pick, he might make the team for special teams. But I'm saying he was going to make it, and he's a 1st round pick. He needs to make it.
Yeah,
and he still might be fine. I don't know. But the 5 guys that they kept along with Cine are all. I mean, Theo Jackson, if he had been waived, he would be on at 53 right now.
Yeah. Yep. So, but this is the right defense to be keeping that amount of defensive backs. We'll see what it looks like in 2 or 3 weeks from now.
Yes.
But they're going to be running a lot of stuff. A lot of those defensive backs are going to be up at the line of scrimmage. You're going to see them very active. We're going to continue here with Judd's notes from Twin Cities Orthopedic Performance Center. But let's shout out our friends at Livia. It's been 2 years. Livia has been a great partner for us here on Purple Daily. And there's been several Purple Daily and Score North listeners that have experienced a lot of weight loss thanks to our friends.
As Phil just said, including Sports Dad, because a couple of years ago, I took off 40 pounds. The guy on the left became the guy on the right. And it was all thanks to my friends at Livia Weight Control Centers, who, by the way, have now been for the last 3 years. So it's a hat trick. The best weight loss program 3 years in a row in the entire state. 14 years of changing lives, and that means that there's an offer on the table, much like TJ Hockenson, an offer on the table, and he signed. Well, if you want to lose weight, sign up now. You're going to get 3 months free. That's right, 3 months for free on a program that I can tell you right now works. You're going to be dropping weight, and then guess what? I mean, 3 months free. That's fantastic. These people are the best at it in the entire state. 855-GO-LIVEA, Livia.com, LIVEA.com. Sign that contract now and start to shed those unwanted pounds.
Hey, our friends at Power Lodge and Miller Marine are not only helping you at the end of summer here, which, I mean, these people who freak out about summer being over this weekend, okay, it's gonna be like 100 degrees next week. So we got a month of summer. So the Bennington pontoons. Also, if you're looking ahead further into the football season, Polaris ATVs and snowmobiles, a lot of fun toys for the adults, Judd.
Oh, absolutely. And look at that too. I mean, talk about the key to life, especially in this state where the sports teams are stressful. Throttle therapy, right, Phil? Throttle therapy is the absolute key. You know, while the Twins
T-squared, we call it T-squared around here.
Twins melt down, then they come back, and you're like, oh my gosh. And then the Vikings start, and you're all concerned about that. You go out on a Bennington. Throttle therapy is going to put your mind at ease on a beautiful day. And that's the thing. It's going to be the kids are going to be back at school. It's going to be 100 degrees. You know what? Let the kids go back to school. You get out there on that Bennington and enjoy.
PowerLodge.com and MillerMarine.com. And also, so we're celebrating TJ Hockenson being a filthy rich man. We don't know how rich yet because we haven't seen the guarantees. He looks like you might spot him at Renaissance Festival. I'm just going to say it, okay?
Yeah,
and that is not a knock. He looks like an actual Viking. Beer, food, Vikings, jousting. Does that sound good to you? The Minnesota Renaissance Festival is here. 16 stages of exciting entertainment and delicious food. The giant turkey legs, by the way, I've had those before. They're fantastic. 50 games, rides, and attractions. Over 250 artisans and shops throughout the festival. And by the way, through the Score North app, we're giving you guys, Score North listeners, a chance to win tickets, a 4-pack to Bold North Adventure Weekend. So all you have to do is download the Score North app. It's free. Open it and go to Listener Rewards, and you'll have a chance to win. The Renaissance Festival is an absolute blast and a staple here in the state of Minnesota. Weekends, Labor Day, and Festival Friday through October 1st. Visit renaissancefest.com for discount tickets, parking passes, park and ride options, and more. All right, back to Judd's notes from Twin Cities Orthopedic Performance Center.
So good news. It sounds like Brian Asamoah is fine too. He's going to be set for the opener. But when Seifert asked O'Connell about like who's going to be there, who's going to be, I believe his exact question was who's going to be on the field when the game starts September 10th. O'Connell sort of deflected a bit, and I think what we're going to see is I think Ivan Pace Jr. and Asamoah are both going to play.
Yeah, rotate them.
Yeah, and I also think Jordan Hicks is going to come out at times. So
yeah, he's old. Yeah.
So I think it's very fair to say this. I think a lot of components of this defense, especially the front and the linebackers, we're going to see multiple guys in waves. And I think the linebackers, I think at some point you are going to see the linebackers, there's going to be a dime package. You're going to see the linebackers come off, and you're going to have one left, and you're going to have the rest will be defensive backs. And don't forget, my contention is, and it was pretty obvious, I think, in training camp practices, that Brian Flores likes to use his safeties and linebackers as sort of interchangeable parts. Yeah. And so Josh Metellus is going to at times look like a linebacker. So I think it's very fair to say that O'Connell was not trying to be secretive. I just think that this team is going to roll out a lot of different packages and personnel packages, and Asamoah and Pace and Hicks are all going to play, and I won't be surprised if they all play quite a bit.
Yeah, there's no reason to. I think we've all been kind of wringing our hands over, who's going to win the other starting linebacker job. Is it Asamoah or is it Pace? Well, there's no reason not to just rotate them. You don't really know anything about either of them in actual NFL games. They have no experience. Asamoah played very limited snaps. So just, if it were me, I'd have Hicks out there for like 75% of the snaps. He's old in football terms, so give him a little breather. And then I would have Asamoah and Pace kind of rotating in to fill the other snaps.
We have the numbers on the Hockenson contract.
Oh boy! Per
Adam Schefter,
get your calculators.
If we have our sounders, can we please sound the breaking news sounder?
So okay, hold on a second. So my sound bar went to crap, but my audio does work. So I just need to dig through my folders here. Hold on a second.
That's okay.
I will get it for you.
Okay, thank you.
Where's our breaking news? Let's try this folder. Oh, here we go. We got it. Wait for it.
Got it?
Wait for it. Oh, there we go.
Hold on, I'll do this old school. This just in, the TJ Hockenson contract news has broken, and ladies and gentlemen, it is a big contract.
It is a whopper.
Impressive. Adam Schefter reporting just now, ESPN, that TJ Hockenson is signing a 4-year, $68.5 million extension that resets the entire tight end market. Sources tell ESPN the $17.125 million annual average and $42.5 guaranteed are the highest for a tight end in NFL history.
Oh man, not that anyone cares about this. I said 45 million or more on write that down for a guarantee. You said 42 and a half.
Yeah.
So 42 and a half. That means I'm just pulling up the other tight ends in the National Football League here.
Surpassed Darren Waller of the Giants.
Right. George Kittle has the highest guarantee, I believe. Okay. So his current contract includes $40 million in guarantees. And then Waller at $17 million a year is the average annual leader. So what is it? It's a 4-year, 68?
Yeah, 68.5 with 42.5 guaranteed.
68.5 divided by 4. So it's 17.1. I love these agents. So Darren Waller is at $17 million. And now TJ Hockenson's at $17.1 million average annual value. So he is now in all categories. It is the big, in terms of like length of contract, Kittle's was $75 million total. So this one comes, so he takes the average annual value title. He takes the total guarantee title, but he's still second to George Kittle in terms of the total value of the contract championship. It's a pretty good day at the office, though, for the Hockenson family.
That is how you get your back to feel much better.
You can hire a lot of chiropractors and physical therapists.
Feeling real good today, Coach.
So, hey, before we get to a random Viking of the week here, any other notes from perusing around the press conference and the practice facility today, Judd?
No, I think that's it. I think I have exhausted Judd's TCO performance notes for the day.
Awesome. Let's give Judd's been on the scene. He's been on the ground reporting on this TJ Hockenson stuff here, asking TJ the tough questions at practice, much to the chagrin of people that don't want drama. Nice job, Judd.
Yeah, I'm sure he'll be singing a different tune today. I bet that frown will be turned upside down. TJ Hockenson will be very happy.
He might slam a beer or two, I think, in celebration. I could see TJ slamming a beer or two. You know?
I absolutely could. I think he should.
So, all right, boys, I have a random Viking of the week for you.
All right.
So we did sneak one in for our live. It was at the state fair. We did one, but it was for only those in attendance. It was a stage show.
Bobby Brister.
And I got it, Bobby Brister. I beat Declan, but it's still it's based on like the Lido Shepherd thing. I have one that's been put together, so it's still my turn.
Okay.
To put you guys against each other.
I'm gonna hide the comments.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Yeah. No cheating.
So I don't see them.
Okay.
I do too.
So all time, Judd has 57 wins. Declan has 28. I have 12. Now I didn't start playing until a few months ago. In fairness, in the new era where all three of us are playing against each other, Judd has 5 wins. I have 4, and Declan has 2. The last handful of random Vikings of the week are Bubby Brister, Lido Shepherd, Asher Allen, Jim McMahon, and Mike Tomlin, a coach.
That was me.
Nice job. So I'm going to give you guys a series of clues. You get up to 3 incorrect guesses each before you are eliminated. I'm curious to see if people in the comments I can look at the comments, right?
You can. Yep. I just have mine.
Yeah.
Nice here. I want to see if anyone gets it before you guys.
They
I don't know if I'll be able to. They're going kind of fast.
The Leo Shepherd one, we were
of course, like
party.
people in the comments can be Googling and stuff. So we'll see. You guys are a bunch of cheaters in the comments section. Okay,
We're gonna rip our audience.
Cheaters. I love our audience, but they're a bunch of cheaters.
We don't know that.
So here we go.
Okay.
Here's the first clue. Trying to see how quickly you guys get this. This could go a long time, or it could be very quick. I don't know. We'll see.
Okay.
This random Viking of the week is a 4-time All-Academic in the Mountain West Conference, or was, I should say. 4-time All-Academic team, Mountain West Conference. It's a smart guy. This random Viking had 6 career touchdowns in the National Football League. This random Viking had 2 different stints with the Vikings.
Hi, Vinny. Good boy. Vinny's popped in to say hi.
He knows the answer, but he can't speak English.
No.
Let's see if anyone's got it in the comments section here. Let's see. There's some names in here. I don't see any correct answers. This random Viking currently has 272,000 Instagram followers. That's a lot of Instagram followers.
6 career touchdowns.
Oh, no, it wouldn't be it.
Nope, it's not him. Okay.
All right. This random Viking was undrafted.
Mountain West.
No, not him.
This random Viking played in 67 career NFL games. Some of these guesses are hilarious.
Anyone get it yet or no?
I don't see a correct answer in here yet. Ziggy Wilf. Cliff Tang guesses Ziggy Wilf.
Undrafted from the Mountain West.
Technically, Ziggy Wilf. Since we're doing coaches, I guess technically Ziggy Wilf would be available.
Undrafted from the Mountain West. 6 touchdowns.
Okay. This random Viking's ex-wife. If you thought 272,000 Instagram followers was a lot, his ex-wife has 3 million Instagram followers.
Ex-wife?
Mm-hmm.
$3 million.
Mackey's mom, Kevin says. My mom passed away.
Hank Basket.
Hank Basket. I had it. Hank Basket.
I said
had
Hank-
it.
I said- I
had
was
it.
saying
I
Hank
said Hank
Basket.
Basket.
No,
I
that's
said
a-
Hank Basket.
No.
I said Hank Basket.
No. You said Hank and I said Hank
I
Basket.
said Hank Basket. I said Hank Basket.
We have to review the tape.
He said Hank and I said Hank Basket.
This happened one other time on Random Viking with Reese Lloyd, where Judd.
But I said it quicker than Declan did it,
I
and
said
you
it.
gave me
Judd
Reese, and
started
you won.
saying Reese
Yeah,
Lloyd,
I said
and
Reese,
I
and you said
jumped
Reese
in.
Lloyd. He said Hank,
had
and I
it.
said Hank Basket,
He was
Declan started saying it first.
which is what happened with Reese Lloyd. You're right.
But did Judd finish? Oh my God, this is
have to
controversial.
re-
I don't know what
review the
to
audio
do.
I
We
think it's
almost we need lawyer Chase.
I think
We need lawyer Chase for this.
I would be willing to negotiate a settlement and say it's a draw, but I'm not giving up the poll. But I'm
We've never had a draw.
at the very least it's a draw, or at the worst it's a draw, and I'd be willing to take a draw because Declan said Hank. And I
commenters
said
are
Hank
saying
Basket.
Declan has it.
Declan started saying it first.
You said you said Hank, and I said Hank
I said
Basket.
Basket, as Phil was saying
man.
something about
And this
dead
guy
moms.
says Judd got it.
Sorry, Dex. Judd had it. Judd had the full name first. I think that's what happened. I think Declan started saying
That's what
it
happened with Reese
first.
Lloyd.
We might have to put this clip on social too, just to get the.
Yeah.
We need to
I
get
would be
people's
willing,
thoughts.
in all seriousness, I'd be willing to call this a draw because it was that close.
I don't know that. Okay, listen. You're the one that's like on trial here. You guys. I don't know that you get. I think
Okay.
this has to go to lawyer Chase.
Okay.
So as I
The Reese
interpreted
Lloyd
this,
the Reese Lloyd precedent gives it to me.
but this is why we need instant replay too. Okay, which we do have, by the way. We are capturing this content. We can go back and consume it. What happens when? We have to go back and look at the Reese Lloyd tape because I think it's the same thing. You started saying Reese, and I said Reese Lloyd before you
Yep,
finished.
did. Yep.
Oh man, this is brutal.
And we've got here, it's split.
It is very split in the comment section. It says do another one to break the tie, but like another one would just be another game. We need a winner of this game.
I have it.
Oh, you're already watching it back. Okay, can you?
Okay, let's hear it.
Is there any way you could put this on the screen here? Hold on a second.
Hank Basket. I had it.
Here, Dex, put it up. This is so janky. Declan literally has a laptop.
Okay, let's hear it.
Can you go full screen on that and just put it up the screen?
Potentially.
This is amazing. People are calling Judd a poor loser, by the way. Mackey's mom, Kevin says. My mom passed away.
Hank Basket.
Oh, it's Declan. It's Declan. Can we play it again? Can you do it again?
Play it again.
We almost need to slow it down. Okay, here we go. One more time. Mackey's mom, Kevin says. My mom passed away.
Hank Basket.
Oh,
It's a
God,
tie.
It's a tie.
Hank can't count. It has to be Hank Basket, and it's a tie.
Dude. It is a
tie. It is at the wire. It's a tie.
One more time, Dex. We got to do it one more time.
I don't think you're going to be able to, because we both say basket at the exact same time. Then
He says Hank first, but then you both
But Hank doesn't
say
count.
basket at the same time. It has to be the full name.
yes, because
Yes.
Reese Lloyd set the precedent.
mom, Kevin says. My mom passed away.
Hank Basket.
Oh my God! It's a tie. This is unprecedented. Okay, we need to. First of all, we need to get lawyer Chase involved. This is why he's on retainer. Okay.
Exactly.
And
And by the way, a lot of billable hours for the company.
We're gonna put this off to the side here. This is the absolute closest finish in the history of Random Viking of the Week, and we'll just have to get back to you when lawyer Chase is done reviewing. Unprecedented. I hate having a draw, but at the end of the day, like you have to say the full name of the player, and
we crossed the finish line at the same
Judd-
time.
It was like Declan kind of like was running across the finish line, but Judd was just flying down the backstretch. Oh my gosh. Amazing. Judd was flying down the backstretch like Maya Mackey when she hears that it's time. And by the way, it's getting close now. She's doing this thing now where it's like
mad?
very obviously an hour before she's supposed to have her scheduled meal, and she just like, it's time now. It's time now because she loves Nutrisource chicken and rice.
Oh, so does Stella. Stella does too. In fact, Stella just texted and said, "Damn it, Pop, it's time for me to eat my Nutrisource. And by the way, you won." And I said, "You know what, Stella? That's why I love you. I'm going to rush home and feed her Nutrisource, not to mention her training rewards treats. Look at that little girl right there, huh? She's a good one."
There he is, Zavinster just hanging out. Vinny. Oh, we got a live Vinny.
He's not excited by this tie. He's like, whatever.
Yeah,
you guys are boring.
It wasn't a tie because I won. No, there is no tie.
Wow, dude. Some people are saying Judd is right for once. Some people are saying Judd is a disgrace. I mean, the opinions are all over the place here right now.
If we are going to use Lawyer Chase, the Reese Lloyd is the only precedent that we have. And I gave you Reese, and Phil said Reese Lloyd. Phil stole it from me.
Now, some people are saying, did we? Okay, I'm assuming that you don't have it.
I said Hank
anymore,
Basket
Declan.
Simultaneously.
I do not have it.
Because some people are saying now that Judd might have said Basket first. I'd have to hear it again.
No, I said Hank Basket.
Well, you did. You said Hank Basket, but you might have said Basket first.
No, Declan said Hank.
Lawyer Chase will be.
And I said Hank Basket. But then Declan said Basket. I agree. It's a tie. I'd go for that. But the Reese Lloyd thing because I gave you Reese and you jumped me and got and said Lloyd.
Yeah.
And
by the way, you saying Reese did trigger it for me, but I said it first. So
no, I know. But that's my point is, so if it's a tie, it's a tie.
That's NutrisourcePetFoods.com. NutrisourcePetFoods.com. Also, a shout out to our friends at Federated Mutual Insurance Company. So Federated can't help us settle disputes within our show, but they can help protect your business with risk management tools and resources to keep your business smooth sailing. It's like having a great offensive line protecting your business. Federated's been around for over 100 years. You can find a full list of industries that they work with, and you can find your marketing representative as well. FederatedInsurance.com, where it's our business to protect yours. Yeah, Declan said Hank, and then they both said Hank Basket. I mean, this is one of the great photo finishes in the history of podcasting. Incredible. And someone says here, Judd only got it because Declan started it. But that doesn't matter. If that's the case,
what happened to Reese Lloyd.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah,
it triggers something.
Yep.
You got to be quick.
Yeah, because then if that was the rule, then you would have to give me Reese Lloyd. But it's not the rule.
No, it's not the rule. Amazing. And if we made the rule like, well, if you start an answer, but then you could just stall the whole time, be like, oh, is it Bob? While you think and hold court, right? So
this is great.
Anyhow, all right.
God, this is fun.
We'll see what
Lawyer
Chase has to say about it here. Controversy here on Purple Daily. Daily Vikings entertainment where we just want the Vikings to win a Super Bowl before we die.
Hank Basket, I won.